what if I said the hottest motorcycle of 2026, yeah, the one everyone's yapping about, actually costs less than that week you spent in Cancun? Or maybe Asheville, wherever. You know what I mean. Flights, the hotel with the weird smell, those $18 airport sandwiches you regret instantly. Kawasaki just dropped something that's got the whole entry-level and retro scene totally upside down. And the name? It's a gut punch of nostalgia for anyone who remembers the 70s. The KE 175 is back. And between you and me, this might be the smartest bike Kawi's built in a very long time. Welcome back to Motometrics. I'm your host. Today, we're diving deep on the 2026 Kawasaki KE 175, a machine that looks like it time-traveled here from 1976, rides like somebody actually used a computer in 2026, and has a price tag that'll make you question every financial decision you've ever made. Seriously, let's just get into it. First off, why does this thing even exist? Good question. Kawasaki's been quietly piecing its retro lineup back together. You've seen the W800, then the W230, and now this. The KE badge originally ran from 75 to 83, a dual-sport trail bike, light, fun, kind of goofy in the best way. Then they parked it. For 40 years, the KE was just a ghost, a forum thread from 2007, a dusty barn find nobody actually bought. But the retro market, it's exploded recently, like kaboom, and Kawasaki noticed, so they brought it back. And here's the kicker. They didn't screw it up. Now, before we geek out on what's under the gas tank, let's just stare at the thing for a second, because wow, the 2026 KE 175 is one of those rare moments where a manufacturer actually listened. No cheap plastic cladding on an old frame with a heritage sticker. Nope, they went back to the real drawings. You get a slim, narrow profile, a round headlamp up front, full LED by the way, a tiny fuel tank with that classic teardrop shape, and bodywork that basically says, I'm not gonna get in your way. There's almost nothing there, and that's the whole point. Clean, honest, exactly what a bike like this ought to look like. Paint? They kept the soul, candy emerald green, and if you know Kawasaki, you know that green just hits different. Also a deep ebony black if you're the brooding type. Chrome on the exhaust and handlebars gives it that vintage vibe without looking like a cosplay prop. And wire-spoked wheels? Come on, perfection. Is it the flashiest bike at the coffee shop? Nah. Does it make people turn their heads? Absolutely. There's something about a motorcycle that looks this intentional. People can't help but stare. All right, engine time. And this is where it gets fun. The KE 175 runs a 175cc single-cylinder air-cooled mill. I can already hear the comments, 175? Really? Just hold your horses. This isn't your grandpa's 175. The 2026 version gets fuel injection. Huge upgrade over the old CARB setup. Means crisper throttle, better cold starts, those early morning rides when you forgot your coffee, and way better fuel economy. You're looking at 13 horsepower at 7,500 RPM and 9.6 pound-feet of torque, bolted to a 5-speed gearbox with a smooth wet clutch. Look, 13 horsepower. Let's not pretend it's something it isn't. You're not chasing a ZH2 down the interstate. That's not the point. But here's the thing nobody talks about. 13 horsepower in a bike that weighs under 300 pounds? That's a whole different animal. Feels light, snappy. It pulls clean through the rev range. On city streets, winding back roads, a lazy Sunday cruise, it'll put a stupid grin on your face. Plus, we're talking well over 70 miles per gallon in real life. Try arguing with that. But wait, pause for a second. I've got to ask you something. When's the last time you actually enjoyed a ride? Not trying to hit triple digits, not filming it for the Ingram, just enjoyed it, because that's what this bike is for. And if you hang on to the end, I'll tell you something about the KE 175 that most of these other channels are completely missing, so don't click away yet. Back to the build. Chassis is a semi-double cradle steel frame. Simple, tough, proven. Front suspension is a 30mm telescopic fork with about 4.3 inches of travel. Rear, 2 twin shocks with adjustable preload and 2.5 inches of travel. Is this a full-blown off-roader? No, but for mixed riding, some pavement, some gravel, maybe a dirt road to a campsite, it handles business. The suspension soaks up potholes without punishing your spine, and the upright seating position means you can ride for hours without your lower back filing a formal complaint. Brakes. Front is a single 2-piston caliber with a 245mm disc. Rear is a 110mm mechanical drum. And critically, front ABS comes standard. That's not a given at this price. Big deal. The 17-inch wheels on both ends keep tire choices cheap and plentiful. Trust me, that matters when you're actually paying for maintenance. Seat height? 30.9 inches, means shorter riders can flat-foot at stops. That sounds like a small detail until you've had a 600-pound bike try to tip over on you at a red light. Not fun. Tech? Look, you don't buy a retro bike for a touchscreen and 47 riding modes. But Kawasaki was smart here. The instrument cluster is semi-digital, an analog speedometer, miles first because, hello, American market, and a digital display for fuel, trip, odometer, plus a USB port, because even if your bike looks like 76, your phone definitely doesn't. LED lights all around. Simple, reliable. Nothing needs a software update. Thank God. Now, pricing. This is where jaws hit the floor. The 2026 KE 175 is expected to land at US dealers for under $5,000. Not a typo. Sub $5 grand for a brand new Kawasaki with ABS, fuel injection, LED lights, and a heritage nameplate. For context, the W175 starts at $5,699. The KE slides right under it as the cheapest retro bike Kawasaki has ever brought to America. Hell, this might be the least expensive new motorcycle from any major Japanese brand in the whole country. Think about that. A brand new bike, full warranty, dealer support for less than a used Honda Civic with 90,000 miles and a mysterious smell. Who's this for? Honestly, lots of people. New riders who want something forgiving and stylish, commuters sick of paying insane insurance on the leader bike, experienced riders who just want something simple, fun machine without the stress of keeping a $15,000 motorcycle upright in traffic, and definitely collectors who remember the original KE and want that feeling back, but with better cold starts. This bike has zero pretension. It's not trying to be a race replica or a touring monster, it just wants to be a great motorcycle. And from what we know, it succeeds. Alright, I promised you something most of these other channels are missing. Here it is. The 2026 KE 175 as an actual on-sale today production bike doesn't officially exist yet. Yeah, everything you just watched, that's a concept, a revival concept. The specs, the design direction, the pricing, all based on Kawasaki's real moves. The EPA and CARB certs for the W175 LTD, the KE Heritage, the direction they're clearly heading. The bones are real, the writing's on the wall, but Kawasaki hasn't dropped the official press release. Not yet. Here's why that still matters. Because this is exactly the bike they should build. Everything makes sense. The market's hungry. The price is perfect. The legacy is there. And given how fast Kawasaki's been moving, I wouldn't be shocked if by the time you read this description, there's already an announcement in your feed. Think of this as the preview. When they make it official, you heard it here first on Motometrics. If you want to stay on top of every new bike drop, every spec breakdown, every retro revival before it goes mainstream, smash that subscribe button and ring the bell. And hey, there's a video sitting on your screen right now that I think you'll love just as much as this one. Tap it. I'll see you over there. Motometrics. Built for riders, made for you.